Yo, what's up? This your boy Zion. Man, just want to say I hope everybody had a really good Halloween. I'm sorry I didn't get to drop any videos for Halloween. So tonight we're gonna be watching a couple TikTok videos that I put together for you guys so we can watch it together. As always, grab your popcorn, grab your loved ones, grab your blanket, lay on the couch, lay in the bed, get comfortable so we can go through these videos, and make sure you leave your comments in the comment section, and make sure you follow, subscribe, and like my channel. Anyway, let's get to this video. Let's go.
Welcome to my YouTube channel called
What's going on, Juco?
Zion the Truth. Show will be starting soon. Show will be starting soon. Show will be starting soon. Please be sure to like, follow, and share.
Tonight, video one, let's go.
The end of the world. On October 22nd, 2022, a man by the name of Peter Reuter mysteriously appeared, claiming to be from the year 2062. He insisted that he needed to stop a woman named Mary Baker from getting on a plane to London, but he said he doesn't know her at all. When questioned further, he revealed that she would cause a spread of a new strain of the virus. The psychiatrist that was assigned to him didn't believe him, but gets taken aback when Peter disclosed her personal information that nobody knows. Peter's warnings get eerily morbid as he warns that if he doesn't stop her, nothing will be left and civilization will be wiped out by October 23rd,
That's crazy.
2053. Because of this, many people are asking the question.
Someone explain this to me.
Tell me what you think
You
about
see these
this.
two rainbows here, all right? Which are coming from the reflection of this corner and this corner of the glass. Just like this one is here as well, coming from that corner, as well as this one coming from that corner. So when we see a rainbow outside in the sky, shaped like this, where is that coming from? The only explanation would be if we were to have some form of rounded glass structure above us. If you've never heard of the firmament, look up the firmament and research.
It's real,
And
bro.
educate yourself.
The firmament real. How many of y'all out there know about
I'm not
the
saying
firmament?
the earth is flat, but it's not a globe.
Drop it in the comments below.
Have you ever
Video number
experienced
2, let's
deja
go.
vu? If you've ever had the feeling of having lived a moment before, you've already experienced deja vu. It's an inexplicable phenomenon. And what if you had actually already lived that moment? The theory put forward suggests that our consciousness has already lived thousands of different lives before. And when we die, the bright light we see at the end of the tunnel is actually a form of rebirth into the world, as a baby. It is said that between the ages of 1 and 3, memories are being erased. That's why we don't remember anything at that age. And sometimes, not all memories are erased properly. That's why we can have this deja vu sensation, which is actually a remnant of memories from our past life. The deja vu you experience would therefore be truly real.
Video
This
3.
got 10 million views, and it shows these two guys who apparently got in a boat and sailed all the way to Antarctica to see if there's new land. And what people were freaking out about in this video was the water looks a little bit different than anything we've ever seen before. It looks kind of thick, and as if it were melted glass. And I haven't figured out a reason or a scientific reason for why this is the case. Maybe there's extra salt in it, or maybe these guys did actually come across some strange water, like no one knows why it's like this. But like, we gotta figure out who these two guys are, because the video is only 2 minutes long. Like, did they actually find anywhere, or are they just sailing around and found an iceberg or something? Like,
That's crazy,
you guys
y'all.
in the comment section do some of your magic and figure out who these two guys are. One of the guys in the video was saying he's going to get his phone out and see where they are on the map. So that makes me skeptical. Like, how do you have service if you're way over in Antarctica? Like, I don't think there's any 5G cell towers all the way down there.
What if Area 51 was actually the gateway to the real world, and we were all living inside Area 51 without even knowing it? This idea might seem ludicrous, but it has been the subject of a theory increasingly discussed within online conspiracy communities. 9 months ago, a peculiar message emerged on an obscure internet forum, capturing my attention despite its relative invisibility in cyberspace. The responses to this message were even more unsettling, triggering a cascade of theories, sometimes whimsical, but often intriguing. Comments suggested that Area 51 was not simply a secret military base, but indeed the veil between our perceived reality and the outside world. The theories are as numerous as they are fanciful, but they all pose one crucial question. What if our reality is not what we think it is? For 4 months, I dove headfirst into the dark and often perplexing universe of conspiracy theories, sifting through the most popular hypotheses and developing my own theories. In-depth research was conducted, enigmatic data was gathered, specialists were consulted, and finally, a possible explanation emerged. An explanation that challenges preconceived ideas.
Oh, wow.
You heard the
Video
conspiracy
number
theory
5, let's
that
check it out.
Australia's fake? The biggest piece of evidence there is, have you ever seen an Australian child?
They don't
Yo,
even
check
hide
this
it
out.
anymore.
The season premiere of SNL with Ice Spice.
Look at us, 3 Gen Z icons.
Aren't you like 40?
No. Long time ago, I met this guy and made a deal where I get to stay 25 years old for forever.
What guy?
Tall fella, horns, red fur, I don't know, little hoods.
Keen, that's the devil, dude.
What? I thought it was like a Times Square Elmo or something.
Something is not
Video
adding
number
up with
6,
Matthew
let's get
Perry's
to it
death.
right now.
As you all know, Matthew Perry was found drowned in his jacuzzi at his home in Los Angeles. Days leading up to his death, he was posting cryptic messages on his Instagram in reference to Batman. Starting on October 17th, Matthew Perry posted this video of a cinema room. Every wall was covered with Batman. And he points up to the corner of the room, and there's a bat signal up there. The next post, he posts a bat out in the water where it says, "Sleep well, everybody. I've got the city tonight. Matman." So he's referring to himself as Matman, playing on the pun of Batman. He has something that says, "Batman plays pickleball." It was announced that he played a 2-hour pickleball match right before he died. Now, there's one post that's very bizarre where it's somebody, it's not Matthew Perry's hand. I don't believe it's Matthew Perry's hand, but it's somebody's hand dropping 3 cranberries on a table. And Matthew Perry says, "This is what I've had to eat today. I'm Matman." People are speculating that this had something to do with the Cranberries lead singer, Dolores O'Riordan, as she was found dead from drowning as well. And then he goes on to post a picture of a jack-o'-lantern with the Batman signal carved into it saying, "Do you know what I mean?" And after this, he
Oh my
posts a
God,
video
y'all
of the
seeing
moon.
this?
And all it says is, "Do
Of
you
the
understand
moon.
what I'm trying to tell you? I'm Matman." And in his 83rd and final post, it shows Matthew Perry in the jacuzzi where he drowned. He says, "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good? I'm Matman." In this photo, you can clearly see that he's highlighting the moon, which is behind him as well. And that is another thing, is Matthew Perry died on a full moon with a partial eclipse. He died on the hunter's moon. Some are saying that this was a full moon sacrifice. So what does this mean? Is he trying to tell us something? Batman, Matman? What's very interesting is in the Batman TV series, Season 1, Episode 33, Fine Finney Friends, it is revealed that Bruce Wayne's great-grandfather was the founder of the secret society Skull and Bones at Yale.
Skull and Bones, that's a good movie, y'all.
Bruce Wayne's grandfather, Mrs. Cooper.
His great-grandfather.
I understand he was tapped for Skull and Bones.
Tapped for it? Sir, he founded Skull and Bones.
Not to mention that it was episode 33, which is heavily involved with Freemasonry. Now, obviously, this is very tragic. I don't want to make light of this, but there's some things that just don't add up surrounding Matthew
it don't
Perry's
add up,
death.
y'all.
Matthew Perry
Drop it in the
has
comments.
had a history of drug abuse. He's had medical issues, so it's leading a lot of people to think that he was relapsing. But some are speculating that he was telling everybody a message, or he was trying to tell everybody a message because of all of these Batman/Matman scenarios.
Whoa.
Film sets
Video number
before
6,
and
let's
after
go.
being abandoned. Noel's house party. Teletubbies.
Teletubbies.
Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Creepy facts
Video
about our
number 8,
world
let's
you
get it.
didn't know about. Have you ever been sleeping and you had a nightmare that you've been falling off of a building or out of the sky and you woke up kind of flinching a little bit? This is actually called hypnic jerks and B. Basically what it is, it's your body thinking you're about to die, so it wakes you up. This might sound insane, but you're literally always 6 minutes away from dying, and every time you take a breath, the clock happens to restart. The ocean is just really a graveyard full of dead bodies and sunken ships, and every time you go visit the beach and take a dip in the water, you're basically swimming in a pool full of dead bodies.
Oh my
People
goodness.
unknowingly swallow about 8 spiders a year. Literally, spiders are crawling inside your mouth and down your esophagus, and you have no idea when or where. Facebook shut down 2 robots named Alice and Bob because they started talking to each other in their own language.
Really? Stay tuned. Let's go to the next video.
Imagine that this
Video
folder is a
7, let's get
dimensional
it.
plane. Now, assuming that it is no height and no depth, what would this mean? It would mean that it's a one-dimensional world. So if, hypothetically, an organism was living inside of it, it would only be able to move in a linear path forward and backwards in a straight line. Now,
makes sense.
If we go to the second dimension, we have 2 dimensions. We have width and we have length. So hypothetically, if an organism lived inside of here, then it would be able to move up, down, left, right, and anywhere else in between.
Right.
And a 2-dimensional world is comprised of an infinite series of 1-dimensional worlds stacked upon each other. Just as our 3-dimensional world, which has depth and length and height, is comprised of an infinite series of 2-dimensional worlds. So it's now that I have stacked many folders upon each other, we have 3 dimensions. We have depth, we have length, and we have width. Now what happens if you keep going on from here on out? We would have a 4-dimensional world, but what exactly is a 4th dimension? In order to understand this, we need to understand how dimensions are perceived. We live in the 3-dimensional world, but despite that, we actually view things to be 2-dimensionally. Take a perfect sphere, for example. If you're looking at a sphere, it looks just like a regular 2-dimensional circle. The only way we can tell it's an actual sphere instead of a circle is because of the hues of light on it. So just like in a 2-dimensional world, if a organism in the 2-dimensional world was looking upon a circle, the light would make it appear to be lighter at one end and darker in the middle. Also, if an object is moving closer and farther away from you, you don't actually perceive that it's getting closer and farther away. You see that it's getting smaller or larger, and then you assume that it's getting either farther away or closer. But let's say that an object was to grow in perfect equilibrium, so that it was growing at the same speed that it was shrinking as you move it farther away. Then you would not be able to tell, without any lights or if there were details on the object, that it's moving or growing at all. You may have assumed that since we perceive things to be in 2 dimensions, that a 2-dimensional organism would see in 1 dimension. So, as we're watching this rubber band expand as it moves farther away from this little organism in the 2-dimensional world, it does not actually perceive anything is happening to it because it's growing at the same speed that it's moving farther away. But since we can actually see it from the 3-dimensional world and perceive things to be in 2 dimensions, we can see things for how they actually are. The reason that the 2-dimensional organism doesn't see things the way they really are is because the 2-dimensional organism sees things in 1 dimension, just how we, 3-dimensional creatures, see things in 2 dimensions. So in a way, we don't really see our world the way it truly is. A 4-dimensional creature, however, seeing our 3-dimensional world in 3 dimensions, would be able to see through things, would be able to see absolutely everything, just as we could see if there was several organisms spread along a 2D environment on your floor. You would be able to see inside houses. You would be able to see inside of people. So if a two-dimensional world, a flat surface, is just made of an infinite amount of lines, then the 3D world is just made out of an infinite amount of planes. So the 4D world, logically, is made out of an infinite amount of 3D objects, though they're not just put together like you would like building blocks. That's not how the 4D world is. That would just be 3D again. So in order to understand this, we need to understand the logical progression of mathematics in our world. Imagine that this connects piece represents the first dimension. It's simply a straight line, which is basically what the first dimension looks like. And if you add 3 more of these straight lines and connect them so that adjacent sides are perpendicular and opposite sides are parallel, then you have the basic shape of the second dimension. You have a square. Now if you keep going from here and you add it so that there's a total of 4 squares, and all adjacent sides are perpendicular and all opposite sides are parallel, then you end up with, obviously, a cube. So if you tried to keep going from here, and you would have a 4-dimensional basic shape, you would have what's called a tesseract. Now I cannot show you a tesseract, but you need to understand that it's basically 4 cubes that are within each other that have all adjacent sides perpendicular and all opposite sides parallel. Yet there are 4 lines connecting to each vertex. So a tesseract would look somewhat like this picture. Now that's not exactly what it looks like, because this is a 2-dimensional depiction, and obviously not all of the lines are straight. So I cannot show you what a tesseract actually looks like, because we cannot perceive things in the 3rd dimension. You cannot even imagine what a tesseract looks like. You cannot in your mind picture the 4th dimension or a 4th dimensional shape. And you can keep going on from the 4th dimension even. You can go to the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension, the 71st dimension. It doesn't matter. Theoretically, there are an infinite amount of spatial dimensions. A common misconception of the 4th dimension is that the 4th dimension is time. Now, while some argue that by going forward and backwards in time, if you move forward the same distance and backwards the same, then you would end up in the same place you started, just like in the 4th dimension. And while that may seem logical, if you think about it, it really doesn't make sense. If you imply that the 4th dimension is actually time, well, first of all, time is not spatial. There's a difference between space and time, quite obviously. And assuming that all dimensions are according to a pattern, then that doesn't really make sense either, because saying the 4th dimension is time, every dimension has time in it, so that would mean that the 4th dimension is special in some way, which doesn't really make any sense. Another reason this doesn't make sense is that we very, very, very slightly travel through time whenever we move due to the distance that light takes to get to our body. Now, if a group of astronauts were to get in a spaceship and they were to go very, very, very close to the speed of light, then they would, and they went around in this impossible, nearly the speed of light spaceship for a few months, and then afterwards they returned to Earth. They would find that Earth had actually progressed a few years, so they had moved forward in time by moving that quickly. Another interesting concept involving the 4th dimension is that many physicists and even mathematicians may say that the dimensions are very, very slightly curved, because if you really think about it, nothing can be truly, absolutely infinite. So imagine that the first dimension, the line, is just very, very slightly curved, so that after a very long time, it will end up creating a circle. So, as suggested by many physicists, if you keep going in the same direction, then you will end up where you started after a very, very long amount of time, obviously. And the same thing would happen to the 2nd dimension. If it's just a square, and then you extend it very, very slightly in a curve, and it will eventually make a sphere, and the same thing happens in our dimension, except it will form a very, very slightly curved third dimension, which will form a four-dimensional universe, basically. So what this kind of means is that our three-dimensional world is within a four-dimensional world, and the four-dimensional world is within a fifth-dimensional world, and so on. Now, I did say that nothing can be truly infinite, but if this is true, and a dimension is really within another dimension, within another dimension, within another dimension, then I'm implying that there's an infinite amount of dimensions, which is the only problem I really have with this theory. I'm not sure if it ever stops, or if infinity is really even possible. We don't know that. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope this gave you a better idea of what the fourth dimension is.
Hear me out.
Video, wait, let's check it out together, y'all.
See how the rest of the ocean is paintbrushed with Photoshop.
Right, I see that. Y'all see that? Let me know if you see it in the comments. You see how all the way around the world?
We travel, we go up and up and up until we only see clouds and nothing else above.
Yeah, see clouds and nothing else above? You just said it.
What if what is painted as water is actually more land?
Oh, wow.
You can see there's texture like land. What if Earth is actually bigger than we're told? What if the Earth is actually flat? What if we live in a crater? What if they fly so high so we don't see what the actual Earth looks like?
Stay tuned for more videos. Let's get it, y'all.
We're living in a multi-dimensional universe, and there's at least 11 dimensions, otherwise the universe would collapse. Each dimension is a 90-degree angle right above the next one, compactified, so they're sitting right on top of us. So within less than a Planck unit of space above you, there's another dimension that actually exists with a whole nother universe happening simultaneously while we're sitting right here. From higher dimensions, they experience time differently. Time really doesn't exist. The past, present, and the future happen all at once. So somebody from the fifth dimension would look at us and they'd be able to see us in all the different rooms. The different rooms represent different time frames of existence within this structure. So they can see the past, present, and future at the same time. Weird stuff starts happening the higher the dimensions you go. Atoms are 99.999% empty space. Nothing is really here. Everything is only a light wave slowed down to a particular frequency. And so if you can match frequencies, you can merge with things. You can walk through walls and all that kind of stuff. The things that seem paranormal could be advanced beings have tapped into some type of understanding of how to match different frequencies in our dimension and appear paranormal, but in true reality, they could just be taking a peek in.
Oh, wow. Stay tuned.
Rihanna made a horrible mistake at her
Let's
halftime show by reinforcing the crazy conspiracy theory that the Super Bowl is actually a live satanic ritual hosted by the elites to show off their power and influence to the peasants watching. And that every year the performer must flash the crowd a demonic or evil symbol of the Illuminati if they want to perform. Beyonce put up the same exact symbol to the crowd at her Super Bowl halftime show and was all over the news the next day for it.
Conspiracy theorists believe that Beyonce signaled that she's part of a secret society bent on world domination.
Some claim that's just the Rock Nation symbol, but why would other celebrities who aren't affiliated with Rock Nation at all flash it?
Right.
Stop making excuses for them. At Justin Timberlake's 2018 show, he had a giant silhouette of Satan laughing at the crowd with his tail. They played it off like a guy playing the guitar. At Madonna's 2012 show, she was moving her body to show symbolism and wearing the Illuminati owl crown on her head. This was insane. J-Lo's costume was showing this evil satanic goat, and she was showing the horns with her head too. Look at her costume though. You can't tell me those are two eyes and a nose and then antlers going up. The Weeknd's dancers are literally wearing such similar outfits to the exact same ones they would do in a satanic ritual. You can't tell me that whole thing didn't look demonic as hell. Literally. Before I show you the craziest part, make sure you follow us. You finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and be in the know and request who you want to see next. Have you ever wondered why the Super Bowl is even called the Super Bowl? Because if you just move over the B, it actually spells superb owl, which is the... Seriously though, the same exact demonic owl that Madonna was wearing on her head and one of the main species of animals that symbolizes satanic worship.
Stay tuned for more TikTok show.
Hey guys, just came back from dance class. Michael, what are you
Video
doing
number 10.
in my room? Why'd you lock the door?
What y'all think about this? Who he just touched right there, y'all? Who guarding him? Now, who just hit him? How many of y'all remember this? This man is a statue, bro. And look at Shaq's face. He was stuck. He glitching. Let's go, y'all, to more TikToks right now. Coming up.
The Earth might be
Video
bigger than
number
we
11,
thought.
let's
For
get it,
years,
y'all.
people have debated over the shape of the Earth, if it is round or flat. Now, this might just all be a conspiracy. But what if the Earth had more than just 7 continents?
Right.
In Antarctica was just a giant ice wall that kept us from seeing the rest of the continents. What if once you made it past the ice wall, you'll find the 20 continents that are really being hidden from us? And what if there was a map that showed this? There are theories that these continents contain prehistoric animals, aliens, and advanced civilizations, and that the 7 continents that we are living in is actually a giant farm or business owned by a small handful of families that make up the filthy rich in the real world, or
that's
in
crazy.
the other continents that we don't know about.
Stay tuned for more content, baby.
Did you know that
Video
there's a
number
carbon
12.
copy of you in
Let's
the world?
do it.
This person has exactly the same face as you, the same personality, the same passions. Of course, you probably don't know this person, but this person knows absolutely everything about you. That's what we call a doppelganger. Be careful, your twin isn't just your super sympathetic twin. Quite the contrary. In fact, he's after everything. Basically, you're the good guy, and your doppelganger is your evil version. He can live right next door to you, or in a country on the other side of the world. If you're unlucky enough to come face to face with him, it's said that after killing you violently, your doppelganger will even seek to take over your entire life. This means stealing your family and friends. In many cultures, doppelgangers are not actually real people, but a figment of your imagination. So seeing your doppelganger would be a harbinger of the... You're probably wondering how it's possible for there to be a perfect copy of you. Well, there are several possible explanations, depending on your personal beliefs. Doppelgangers can result from a mirror universe of black magic, human cloning, or even alien intervention.
That's crazy, y'all, but stay tuned for more content. Let's go. Video 13, let's get it, baby. Universal Earth, it's a magnetic field. Wow. Stay tuned, let's go to the next video. Video 14, let's go. Oh my goodness, you see her, y'all? A baby's crib in the attic, just out of nowhere. That shark in the tank is crazy, huh? Oh nah, I'm good. Video 15, let's get it right now. Oh, you see it? Whew. I don't see it. You see it where it's at? Yeah, I see it now.
You are being
Video
lied
16,
to because
let's
no
go.
one has ever been in space. There is a theory that suggests we have never explored space due to a transparent barrier surrounding our world. Beyond this barrier, there is no open space or vacuum, but rather water. It may all sound crazy, but in 1962, the US government detonated a few nuclear bombs in the sky, allegedly to test the atmosphere's reaction to their explosion. So they want us to believe. However, some claim that they were actually attempting to see if they could break through this invisible barrier. Ironically, this program was called Operation Fishbowl. This theory is fueled by the observation that many have noticed stars appear to twinkle or shimmer through a liquid-like substance when viewed with the naked eye or through a camera. Rocket enthusiasts have also noted that the rockets we have launched seem to encounter an invisible ceiling, creating an effect similar to what one would observe in water.
It's called the affirmant. Stay tuned. Keep your mind open.